Hello everyone, my name is Roslyn and you're welcome to my channel. So today I will be taking you through how to make accurate body measurements, whether measurement in sewing, shirt, gown, basic bodies, gown, any type of measurement. That is what I'll be showing you today. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. So what I'm going to do firstly now is to take you through some vital body measurements that we have, like the one that you cannot even do without, like your shoulder to shoulder measurements. They are vital body measurements. Like your bust circumference, they are your vital body measurement. Your waist circumference, your hip circumference, they are vital body measurements that you cannot do without. So let's just get started with it immediately. As you can see, I have two tape rule here with me. It's not necessary you use two tape rule. If you have the rope or bias tape, you can also make use of it. But I have this, so I'm going to be making use of this. And so our waist measurement here, which is from your shoulder to your natural waist. For you to get this natural waist, it's just for you to ask your clients. Like example now, you can ask me, for example, I'm the client now. Our natural waist is where it seems there is no bone. It's actually boneless, I guess, around this side. So you can ask your client to bend towards one side like this, while you use your hand, like the middle fingers here, to trace. The place will go inside more and more than the other parts of this place. So when you determine the place, you can as well tie rope or your tape rope around the person, just like this, just for you to know the exact place like this. I hope you see what I just did now. So I'm going to be doing the same thing to the mannequin right now. So this line where the upper body joins to this part, this line is not the true waist of this mannequin. As you can see, this is the place where we can call the true waist, because they actually enter more than this place. So I'm going to be tying this tape rule around this particular place for us to know exact place that we're going to be taking our measurements from. So here is it now. The reason why we are doing this, it is because our front half length is not equal to the back half length. When we take the measurements, you are going to see that one is bigger than the other. And the reason why the front half length is always bigger than the back half length is because of our boob here. The boobs at the front makes the measurement at the front longer than the one at the back. So let's just get started. I hope you understand what I am saying perfectly. So in taking our shoulder to shoulder measurement, some people call it back measurement, but it's from ear to ear, your shoulder measurements. And we should not make mistake of taking these measurements. Oh, sorry. I just pull off the mannequin. So let me okay. I want to turn it so that we understand what I'm saying. So you should not make mistake of starting this measurement from the arm area, like where your sleeve supposed to sit. Your shoulder to shoulder measurement shouldn't get to that place. So from this line to this line is where you're supposed to take your shoulder to shoulder measurement. And in human being, you will notice that there is a joining of our own hand to this part. You can also, there is always bone. There's a bone here that indicates that part. For people that are slim, for people that are of plus size, you might not really notice it, but make sure that your shoulder to shoulder measurement is not getting to this side. Don't take the shoulder to shoulder measurement to this side. It is always from where the joining of their hand is. So you take it from that place to this edge, then you are good to go. As for the mannequin right now, I have 12 inches, which serve as the shoulder to shoulder measurement. I hope you understand that part. So let me proceed to our bust circumference. Taking your bust circumference too is to place your tape rule around the bust area like this. Make sure you are placing this tape rule at the fuller part of the bust area. The fuller part. Don't take it like this. Then don't make it to come lower like this. Make sure you are taking it at the fuller part, the one that cuts across your nipple area, like so. So take it like that. Then do not cultivate the habit of putting your hand like this also. When you are taking measurements, you are including some extra inches to the measurement if you don't know. So make sure you are placing it like this and you take your measurements. And at the same time, the back, make sure that the table is not lower while the measurement is correct. Like, make sure it is not like this. Let me show you what I mean. Make sure the table isn't like this at the back. Make sure the table is also equal like this. It's not like this. So you take the bust measurement accurately like that too. Like this. Take it like that. Then you come to your waist circumference and you also take your waist circumference also. This is the waist circumference, which is 26. That is what I have now. I'm taking the basic and the most important measurements that you cannot do without. And I come to the hip measurement also. The hip measurement also should be taken at the fuller part of the body, of the hip circumference. Don't make it to come up and don't make it to go down. Take it at the fuller part of the hip area so that you will get accurate body measurements, just like this. I have 39. This is 39. And this 39, make sure it can go down a little bit so that it will not be too tight. As you can see, it is 39. Yes, 39. So that is it. And so another thing now, like I said earlier before, I told you that when you indicate your natural waist like this by tying this tape rule or your bias, any rope around this place. Now the next measurement now is our shoulder to front half length measurement here, where this tape is, to know the length. Now while you are measuring this particular place, if you want to place your tape rule around your shoulder, around this neckline area, please do not come here and start measuring like this. And please do not do like this also. The reason why I said you should not come here and start your measurement is because this is the lower part of our shoulder, because our shoulder is not flat. So the higher part of our shoulder here around our neck, because the way our neck and our shoulder here are being built is like this, something that is very slant. So coming here to take your measurement is very wrong. So you come to this part, which is a little bit higher than here. That is where you're going to be placing your tape rule. Then you will come, you start measuring it towards your boobs area, your bust. Then you will not stop at that. You will come to your under bust like I am doing presently. Then you use another finger to hold the table right down, then continue measuring it. So as you can see now, what I have here is 19 inches. 19 inches for the front half length. Now let's go to the back, then see what shoulder to the back half length will give us. So same thing, we are going to go over to this place, then measure around. You can see what I have. I think I have 16 inches here. I have 16 inches. Though that is 3 inches difference. I have not worked with any client with 3 inches difference. The highest I've worked with was 2.5. Yes, 2 inches, 1.5, then 2.5 is common for people that their bust is very big. So you can see that our front half length and our back half length is not always the same. So that is that for that aspect. Now, when you let's take an example that we are making a gown, whether short gown or long gown. The first thing that should come to your mind when you are taking such measurements is to ask your client, if it is short gown, ma, where do you want your gown to stop? Do you like it? Make sure that you are always taking your measurement like this. Don't take your measurement like this. Make sure you are always coming to your underbust like this, so that you don't have any shortage when you are done making your dress. Then ask them, is it okay like this? If they say it's okay, then you know that your short gown is 45 inches. Then if they ask you to come down, you say come down. Then if it is a long gown, then you come down like this to wherever their desired length is. Then you take the measurement like that. So for this manicure, I have 65 here. So that's for the gown measurement. Then for apex, for dresses that has to do with bustier, you need to take apex measurement. Some people call it nipple to nipple measurement, which is the distance between this nipple to this nipple. That is what we are going to be using in construction of your bustier. So you are going to take your tape like this, then measure from here to here. But this mannequin now is 6 inches. So it's not always, there's no constant measurement for that one. You measure your client, it could be 6, 7, 8. Just measure your client and get whatever their own is. So that one is that. Then you need your underbust circumference. Before then, you should also measure from your shoulder to your underbust, the length. Right here, I have 14.5 inches. That is shoulder to underbust measurement. Make sure you are placing your tape rule correctly while you are doing that rather. So I have 14.5. Then you go ahead and measure your underbust circumference. Your underbust circumference. So for this underbust circumference now, I have 28 inches. This is it, 28 inches as the underbust circumference. So for upper bust circumference, I have 31 inches here as the upper bust circumference. And there is upper hip circumference too. Some people call it band circumference. It depends on what you choose to call it. And you just take your tape rule to measure it. This upper hip circumference can be used while sewing skirts, while sewing trouser measurements. And at times, while you are making your corset dress, the length of your corset, you need to take the circumference of that plate. So if for example, if your blouse is going to be stopping at this place, you need to take the circumference of that plate so that it will not be too tight or either too loose on them while they wear it. So that is that. Now when you want to make trouser, now we should also consider that. Now for people that they want high waist trouser like the one I'm actually putting on right now, you can still maintain this particular tape rule. Or rather you ask your clients, ma'am or sir, ma'am, where do you want your high waist to start from? If the person says she wants a high waist to start from this waist, then fine. You tie it around the place so that you will know where to start your measurements. Then if it is starting from here, some people put their trouser. This is where their own trouser will start, because this is where they used to normally put their trouser. If they say it is this place, then make sure you tie something around this place so that you know where to start from. And if they are actually putting on a trouser and they already know where the trouser is, you might not need to tie anything around their waist. Just go ahead and put your tape rule around the place. Then you take your measurement now down to their ankle area. That will serve as your trouser band to ankle length, like from your waist to your ankle length. You take note of it. For my mannequin now, I have 42 inches, but if it is someone that wants a trouser to be so long or to be touching ground, then you also take from their waist to the floor length. So you make sure you touch floor or their slippers or whatever they are wearing, then, or you can add additional 2 or 3 inches to their ankle length, like that. Another thing that you are going to take note of when you are sewing trouser is from their waist to their knee length. So you place your tape rule around this place again, then you measure to their knee length, like this. For my manicure, you can see I have 25 inches. So when you are done with that, then your crotch length, there is a way you can get your crotch length. Some people use different method, but for the one I prefer is for you to tie your tape rule or your rope or whatever you are using. You tie it around where they want their trouser to be, to start from. Then you find a flat surface. Then you ask your client to sit down on the flat surface. Then after sitting down on it, you can now take your tape rule. Then you measure from where this tape rule is to the surface they are sitting on. Whatever you get will serve as your crotch length measurements. Then another thing for people that use thigh measurement is just for you to take your tape rule, cross it around the fuller part of their thigh like this, then take the measurement. For my mannequin here, I have 25.5 as the fuller part of their thigh area. And for people that use hip circumference to sew their trousers, some doesn't use hip circumference to sew their trousers, while some prefer to use their thigh measurement to sew their trousers. So if you are the type that love to take hip circumference in sewing trousers, then just come across here, then you measure your hip circumference, and just like I've shown you before, you take your hip circumference, and that is all. Now your knee circumference, you need your knee circumference when you are making basic trouser or a not too big trouser. You need your knee circumference and you need your ankle circumference to do that. Now you don't take knee circumference while your client is standing like my mannequin like this. You can as well just ask them, please ma, raise your legs small like this. When they do, then you take your tape rule around their knee like this, then you measure it. The reason why we are asking our client to lift up their leg like this and we take the measurement, it shows that by the time you finish sewing your clothes and your client test it, so that this place will not be too tight, so that it will not be too tight on them. Another thing is that your ankle measurement, like this particular place now, your ankle measurement is like this, but we don't take ankle measurements like this. If you take ankle measurements like this, by the time they are wearing it, especially when you sew with Ankara or you sew with non-stretchy fabric, it might not really enter them. So when you are taking your ankle measurements, you take your ankle measurements like this. This is how you take your ankle measurement, so that even if the cloth is not stretchy, it will still pass through like this, like this. But if you take your ankle measurements like this and you sew a cloth of Ankara, by the time you want to pass, you want to put your legs to where the trouser, it will not enter. So you take it like I just mentioned. Now we are done with trouser measurements for now, and I will come over to the sleeve measurements. Now when it comes to sleeve measurements, some people measure their sleeve too inward, like they place their tape rule too inward like this. No, like I told you before, that when you are measuring your shoulder to shoulder measurement, you shouldn't come down too much. Likewise, when you are taking your sleeve measurements too, You shouldn't go inside towards your shoulder too much. Just start at this line where your hand is joining to this upper part. For slim people, I told you that there's always bone here that indicates where this sleeve is joining to the shoulder. But if it is there's someone that is of plus size, you might not really see any bone there, and you will need to just use your initiative that I don't need to go inside like this and start measuring. Just come to this side, then start taking your sleeve measurements. So for sleeve measurements now, it depends on the kind of sleeve you are working with. If you are working with a shorter sleeve or 3/4 or long sleeve, so you start from here. If it is shorter sleeve, you stop, you ask the person the desired length they want, and you stop at the place. If it is quarter sleeve, like that's around here, you also ask them. If it is long sleeve, you ask them and you stop at their desired length, depending on the style you are working with at that point in time. Then the circumference of where the sleeve length is going to stop, you need to also take note of that one. Then you take the circumference. It is around their sleeve length. So you take it. But here is the thing you should note around the sleeves. If there is any length of a sleeve that is going to stop around this elbow area here, please do not take the circumference while their hand is going down like this. Ask them to fold their hands like this, so that you will take the measurement like this. Don't take the measurement. Can you see? If you take the measurement like this, by the time they wear it, it might be fitted. But if they want to fold their hands like this, it will be difficult for them to fold, and it might cause inconvenience for them. So you ask them to fold their hand just like this, just little like this, so that you take it and ask them, is it okay? Is it too tight? Can I loosen it? So that is it. And if you are making a long sleeve for a client, and the sleeve length gets to this side, like to this stitch, when you want to take the circumference of this place, do not make mistake of taking the circumference of this place. The same method that applies to here also applies to ankle, just like I said. You don't, when you are working with a stretchy fabric, you can do that. Same thing goes for trouser. When you are working with stretchy fabric, you can do that. You can measure around your ankle here. But if you are working with Ankara or any other non-stretchy fabric, please kindly come to this place. Measure this place. Because if you measure here, for example, now I have 6.5 as circumference around here. But here now, I have 8.5. Now you can see that is the difference of 2 inches. How will this hand enter this 6.5 inches? So it is only advisable when you are working with stretchy fabric that you go ahead and measure, because when you want to wear it, your hand will actually pass it because it has elastic, it is stretchy. But if you are working with a non-stretchy fabric, like I just said, and I'll continue to say it, measure this place. And if it is trouser too, please measure around your legs like this. Do not measure like this. So that is that for that. And some other people too do measure their bicep. You know, there are some people that have a, is it Christian mother arm? They call it, there's fuller flesh here around this place. Then when you make clothes for them, the sleeve is always tight around this place. Then your customer tends to complain. So in order to avoid, if you have such customer, in order to avoid such thing, go ahead when you are measuring them. Measure that fuller part of their sleeve. We call it bicep. So measure the fuller part of that sleeve and note it. So when you are drafting your sleeve, you will make sure you cross-check that area and make sure it accommodates that measurement, the bicep measurement that you have already. Then some people also measure armhole area, like round armhole area like this. Why some doesn't measure around their armhole area? They already have method to get their armhole. Yes, the method to get armhole area is bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch. So, but if you are the type that still want to go ahead to be so certain of what you are doing, you want to cross-check everything, you can also go ahead and measure your armhole area like this. Please do not let your armhole measurement be too loose, like you coming down like this, so that it will not be too it will not tight then. No, don't make it too loose. Just measure around their armhole area like that. Simple. If they can lift their hand like this while you are measuring, then it is okay. So as for this and other measurements that I would like to talk about is when you are making turtleneck kind of dress, bishop collar like that. Some people do not take note of measuring this round neck measurements. You will see some bishop collar, they are too loose, they are not that firm around their neck like this. You see some bishop collar, this thing collar is starting from around here. But when you take the measurements, around the person's neck like this, the way you want it to be, how you want it to stand on them. If it is like this, you take it. If the person says it's like this, you take it. But you know, it is not always nice when it is too loose. So you make sure that it is very firm and it is standing very correctly on them, like something like this. For example, now I have 14 inches on my mannequin presently. Like if the collar is going to be sitting on their neck like this, I have 14 inches. So when you are putting your neckline area, you should already know that you should not do more than these 14 inches that you already measured. If you do more than that, it will make the neckline area to be wider than what you already expected. So it is very, very good and very, very, very always very, very accurate to measure around your neck like this. Then it makes the job easier and the job will come out so neat. And yeah, we have come to the end of the class. And if you watch this video to these very, 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 very minutes, please kindly follow and subscribe to my channel. Also, turn on the notification button so that you can get notified whenever I post a new video. I'll see you next week with another